Nvidia stock investors have had a great week so far. I mean, if we look at the stock from Monday, it's up nearly 10%. Now, in today's episode, what I want to do is take a closer look at some recent bullish news impacting Nvidia, why we should be careful and not follow analyst discussions. And also, I want to look at pricing of Nvidia's GPUs in the cloud. I think I'm going to start doing this on almost a weekly basis so we can kind of see the trend ourselves of how the AI market is doing. We're going to cover all this in today's episode, so make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button, check out the pinned comment for special offer at fool.com/Jose, and check out my free daily semiconductor newsletter, whatthechip.happened.com. So let's get started.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so first thing we're going to see is Nvidia right now is up roughly 0.8%. Yesterday, though, the stock did have a nice day, and we're going to see one of the main things, or two things yesterday that we saw was Google's CapEx the night before. After reporting on Tuesday after market, we saw that they are increasing their capital expenditure, that they're going to be building more AI infrastructure, that they have more demand than they do have capacity. So overall, all that kind of circulated really bullish for Nvidia. And we can see from Tuesday to now, the stock is up roughly 6%. The second thing we're going to see, Supermicro also did have some bullish news for Nvidia. But the one that just came out this morning, at first, let me just say my apologies to my constant viewers who wait for my nightly video. My little one was sick. He's still sick. So it's been pretty hectic here in the Naharo household. So my video production might be a little bit slower than expected, but I'll try my best to fill you with lots and lots of daily knowledge. But first, let's start off with Nvidia. So Nvidia today also did have kind of maybe a bullish scenario if you kind of look at it that way. But if you look at Nvidia's stock price and Morgan Stanley on Google, you're going to see two things. And this is why I personally don't enjoy following analysts, because they could say something really quick and then the next day they kind of change their mind. So about a week ago, when this whole DeepSeek drama came out, they kind of lowered the price target and lower expectations for Nvidia due to DeepSeek. Now it does seem like they're kind of going the other way. Their DeepSeek is still creating a sell-off, is a buying opportunity in Nvidia stock. So I guess they're kind of bearish in the long term, but bullish in the short term kind of thing. Morgan Stanley thinks that demand for Nvidia Hopper and Blackwell chips remain solid, with DeepSeek creating some challenges on margins. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see. Overall, if you've been watching my channels, you have heard from DeepSeek when DeepSeek came out that I thought it wasn't necessarily a nothing burger, but it was an overreaction. And just a few days ago, I say how I believe this was a buying opportunity. Now, Supermicro yesterday on February 5th mentioned that they'll ramp full production of Nvidia's Blackwell rack scale solutions with Nvidia's AGX B200. So here, this is great news for a few things. First, is honestly showcases that Nvidia's Blackwell solution is in full effect and is on schedule. Even in the past few weeks, we have heard discussions that, look, certain products might be getting delayed. The Blackwell might be getting delayed, right? So important to remember that the Blackwell platform has a lot of systems, right? If you remember the Hopper's best selling was the H100 and the H200, right? The Grace Hopper 200 wasn't necessarily the best selling product. Now, many people here for the Blackwell are looking at the Grace Blackwell 200, but it seems like they're forgetting about the Blackwell 200 and all the other Blackwell platforms as well. So Supermicro says they're in full production right now. They talk about the B200 liquid cool. They talk about the B200 air cool. And even though we have heard rumors of the GB200 NVL72, they also talk about that system as well. And the 36, just the NVL72. So overall, I think this is bullish. It kind of eliminates some of the rumors that have been going on that there is delays happening with the Grace Blackwell. Supermicro is doing full production. Maybe the Grace Blackwell 200 might not do as well as it intended, but there's still the B200, the B100, and the upcoming B300 system. So it's important that when reading rumors to understand there's multiple platforms within the Blackwell infrastructure. Outside of that, some other good news came out. This came out a few days ago, but I never covered it. Google is the first to power NVIDIA's B200 and is now in preview. I'm gonna say Google is a beast. Google's stock price reaction after earnings, in my opinion, is creating a buying opportunity. If there was one big tech outside of Nvidia that I would buy massively on the dip, not a 7% dip that we saw after earnings is cool, but like a massive dip, I think Google would be one of them. And just if anyone's curious, the other one would be Meta. I think out of the Max 7, only massive dips, those two would be ones that I really, really do enjoy. Kind of talking here about Blackwell, CoreWeave also launches the first NVIDIA GB200 and NVL72 cloud-based instances to power the next era of AI reasoning. So again, you're hearing NVIDIA, you're hearing Google announcing the B200, you hear CoreWeave announcing the GB200. So you're seeing at least some evidence that the Blackwell is still going pretty well. So it's going to be strong for this upcoming earnings and most likely for guidance. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about is everybody's thinking, hey, look, DeepSeek is going to be this game over. But AI PCs, when it comes, NVIDIA is going to be supercharging it. It's going to be the main player there. So NVIDIA's upcoming RTX 5070 50 series GPUs are going to be able to use NVIDIA's NIM microservices and NVIDIA's AI blueprint. So normally, a lot of these solutions have been kind of only selected to be used on NVIDIA's data center products. There hasn't been true support for them for the consumer GPUs. But NVIDIA is mentioning that NIM services and AI blueprints are coming soon with initial hardware support for GeForce RTX 50 series, GeForce RTX 4090, and 4080. With additional GPUs will be supported in the future. So this is great, right? Because it does open up developers to start using more of NVIDIA solutions without needing their data center. So again, building that ecosystem of developers on NVIDIA's platform with their consumer GPUs. So eventually, if any of the things developed with this go into mass production, become some crazy app, then you will be able to easily transfer it to NVIDIA's cloud GPU solutions via one of the cloud infrastructure players. So I thought that was a pretty cool news there. The other thing that we saw on February 4th, this one was pretty interesting. On January 21st of 2025, TRC Capital is planning to made an offer to purchase about 1 million shares of Nvidia at $131. There's nothing crazy about this because it's less than 0.01% of outstanding common shares. But Nvidia expresses no opinion and is neutral on this offer, as this offer seems to be very kind of similar to market share value. It's really weird. The offer can be canceled or rejected at any time within a certain timeline. Not necessarily news in anything, but it just shows that some investment firm is willing to buy 1 million shares at $131. Now the stock is still sitting at $120. Doesn't that say that you're probably a better investor than those investment firms? So I just wanted to bring that one up to the viewers. Now, I want to end this episode by kind of showcasing cloud solutions. And I'm new into this, right? So I don't know why we haven't done this, but I wanted to at least maybe once a week look at GPU cloud prices to see what's the trend going on. So I'm going to be using two platforms, but if anybody has any other platforms that they might recommend, let me know on the comments below. First is going to be Kudo Compute, and I'm just looking here. So for 8 times NVIDIA's H100 system, you're paying about $24. So that's roughly $3 per hour per GPU. So that seems to be like a consensus right now. Now for the NVIDIA GB200 NVL72, just for one of them, and I believe that comes in with two Blackwell platforms, is about $4 an hour, right? So time to take a look at that. I also kind of made an account with Lambda, which is a huge data center cloud provider. And here, these are special offers, but here we're looking at 8 times Nvidia H100s, those are sold out. Pretty much very similar to what we saw with Kudo, about $24, so about $3 per GPU. So 8 times are about that. But then they also have kind of like a massive infrastructure play that if you want about 16 H100s, you're paying about $4.50 per GPU hour, right? So it seems like on the massive super clusters, which obviously is probably more expensive to run, they're a lot more rare. It's a lot more rare running a 16, a 32, even a 512 system opposed to an 8 system, right? An 8 system can be run, can be built up pretty quickly. These other nodes take a lot longer. So you're probably paying a premium for that. So $4.49 if you want them right now. Obviously, if you have a longer time, if you want to rent them out for various weeks, you have a lot of rental. So I just want to look at pricing for this point. I also wanted to look at Google. Google only has right now the H100. One thing that I did notice is none of them have the H200 in stock right now. So that showcases some strong demand for the H200. Neither the Lambda has the H200 either, neither in super clusters, and Google either. They don't even have the Blackwell right now. So it seems like the H200 and the Blackwell are selling out in compute demand, which is obviously very bullish, as it means that there's probably more demand than capacity on their products. But here we can see an Nvidia H100 with 8 GPUs right here is about $65,000 per month. And this is a total GPU usage hours of 730. Again, these are just pricing I'm going to keep a closer eye on, maybe on a weekly basis, try to see if there's an increase anywhere, if there's a heavy decrease, is DeepSeek creating any random volatility in GPU pricing, because I think that's going to be a great indication of how the demand is for Nvidia. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do think there's other kind of platforms we can look at, maybe you might be working in the data center market, you might be a little bit more familiar, let me know. I'm down to learn. So take care, have a good day, and see you all next time.